Hello. Good
Hello.
afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for having me. I'm James Clark. I'm one of the upper GI consultant surgeons here at the Trust. I've been appointed just over a year ago now. Here at RCHT, we perform thousands of advanced, minimally invasive surgical procedures, each of which done high quality. Thank you. Each done with high quality, comparable to leaders in the national and on the international stage. These procedures take many years to learn, and even as a junior consultant myself, there is still much that I can learn from every single one of these cases, even if performed by one of my colleagues. And for someone who is open to learning, we can still learn a great deal, not just in necessarily the steps of the operation, which you can see here, but also in the decision-making process that can come out from challenging cases and how some of my colleagues might deal with those same situations. These decisions are taken all the time in surgery and can have great impact on the outcome from the case, where the patient stays maybe a day or indeed 5 days. So really vital. Here at Royal Cornwall Hospital in general surgery specifically, we haven't been the best in terms of education for our surgeons. And I really am here to want with a drive to try and turn this around. We have outstanding trainees come through from the Peninsula Deanery every year. These are trainees who really are driven to want to learn. They tend to be the top at their field. Yet, due to commitments either from the elective work or the emergency surgical work, they really have very little opportunities to jump into every single one of these really important cases, that every case is an opportunity to learn from. And as such, really, we need to sort of change this. Today I'm bidding for £3,000 to try and see if we can increase the capabilities of, or increase our transmission actually, of live surgical theatre cases to our surgical resource and education room, so that our surgeons, our surgical trainees, can actually view live operating cases without having to go into the theatre complex. They can switch on, see the actual cases as they're happening in the 10 minutes they might have spare between certain commitments they may have elsewhere. And this, I think, is really important. It'll also be important not only to aspire junior surgeons to want to go down a career of surgery, because it exposes them to the operating theatre, which they often don't get a chance to go into, to aspire senior trainees to learn how to do surgery even better, but also to aspire consultants, and aspire consultants with an open view to learning, to learn how to learn from their colleagues, as well as to be able to act as educators. I think it's so important that we as a trust are committed to educating our surgeons of the future. These are going to be our colleagues, these are going to be our surgeons as we get older, and I think it's vital that here at the trust, from a succession planning perspective, we actually look at these people as people that we will want to come here, and then we can showcase by showing that we are aspiring to high-level technology, that we are utilising this for education in healthcare, and really trying to aspire to bring these surgeons to Royal Cornwall Hospital rather than going off to other units around the region. So I hope today you might see it my way and see if you can change the way we do educate our surgical trainees here. Encourage better ones to come as a result.
Thank you very much indeed, James. No, I'm struggling to keep my eyes on you when I kept watching that. Yeah, Dragons. What questions do you have for James? So can I go on? You're being polite.
So yes, we'll be too polite. The technology will transmit live feed from one room to another, yes. I take it.
Yes.
Is there any particular reason why it couldn't be transmitted nationally or further afield? Are there data implications of that?
Well, there are Data Protection Act related to that, but we are the first trust in the UK to have installed in our operating theatres systems that allow us to upload our videos, where each video is automatically evaluated by a machine algorithm and an AI system, and broken down into steps. So already we have installed in our theatres, the first in the UK,
to be able to upload all these things. Now all we're doing really is asking for an upgrade to increase the Wi-Fi signal to allow then, instead of it actually going to a cloud, it's actually being beamed across to our surgical resource and education room, where we can then watch it. And actually it wouldn't just necessarily be on a screen, but it would be on your mobile phone. So the surgeons who have registered mobile phones would be able to actually just tap in, if they're within the range, to be able to tap in, which is within the outside the theatre complex, but within the hospital grounds, be able to tap in and actually see what's going on in theatre. And that case that was really actually something that I can learn from, Mr. Pies and my colleague might be doing, I can just pick it up on my phone, pick it up on my laptop, or go to the surgical resource room where a group can perhaps learn how to do a particular challenging laparoscopic case.
And if you pick it up on your phone, if I was picking it up, do I get to hear the dialogue and the discussion, or is it
no
visual
dialogue,
only?
it's visual only. So
Okay.
yes, of course, there is that benefit of having the visual, but actually you can, in terms of as a senior surgeon, as a senior sort of clinician, you can see where the challenges are as the operation progresses and how somebody deals with them, and that is really where I feel as a consultant I'll get the benefits. But from a junior perspective, it's looking at the steps perhaps. So each one will gain something slightly better out of each.
Okay.
James, thank you. How would I know what was going on in the video?
In what?
How would I know what was actually happening, what was supposed to be happening?
So that's true. We should have a list. We would have a theatre list open, and we would be able to know what was on that list. So we'd know what's in theatres, the two theatres that we would run it in, which is Theatre 8 and 9. These are two GI theatres, laparoscopic theatres, and we should be able to have a list open to be able to know what's in each one.
Okay.
So that's an interesting question, actually. And that's, so it is accessible, that information. It just doesn't come with it.
And would the video be recorded for future?
It is all recorded and analysed on the cloud for you to have independently for each surgeon only. So they then have to share if they wanted to actually showcase it rather than it being live.
Okay. So as a patient, could I see my operation?
Yes, I can show you your operation. But the operations are anonymised. So if I had to go back, there is no evidence to suggest that I can say it is yours. Which is interesting. So there's no data on there that's reflective of yours.
Okay.
The only way, and it can be, you could go back, potentially look at the dates and try and transcribe it across, but you can't be absolutely sure that it is your case. But I can on the day turn around, and I do use it, that facility, for patients, and I show patients, would you like to see, why I've left a drain? Would you like to see why your operation went well? And I can show them, and they do actually very interested in seeing it.
Go on.
James, can I just ask a very quick question around quality assurance? So how would we know that the videos are only of the very best practice? How do the ones where potentially some out-of-date practice aren't shown to more junior colleagues?
That's a good point. I think all cases are learning, whether they're out-of-date practice or advanced practice. If you're doing advanced laparoscopic surgery, though, the predominant are that this is actually that there isn't out-of-date practice. One could argue, yes, how do you know quality assurances? The only way I can be certain that that is the case is the system we're currently using is actually can be shared nationally and reflected on nationally. So if I was to do a case, for example, a bariatric case, and I opened up to the national forum, which I can share my videos nationally, then I would get a reflection back from people saying this is not the same as what I do, and they could argue what's appropriate or not.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed from the timekeeper, and thank you very much indeed, James.
Thank you.
How do you think that went?
I think it went very well. I mean, the Dragons seemed to enjoy it.
Good.
I enjoyed it,
Good.
and I hope that comes across in the way I presented.
And were they challenging towards you?
Very challenging questions. I liked them actually because that gave me more ideas as to how we can go forward.
Okay.
So I did actually think that the questions that they gave were very well thought out actually, and certainly gave me something to think about.
Okay. So if you weren't successful, you still got things you could build
Oh,
on?
most certainly.
Brilliant.
Not to
Perfect.
say that I want to be unsuccessful.
No, definitely.
But no, thoroughly enjoyed and a good experience.
And would you do it again?
I certainly would.
Good.